Hey guys, it's Kanji once again with another exciting update video. I'm going to probably do less of a review again today and more just give you guys an update on what's going on, my collection, what's incoming, what I've received recently that I've really enjoyed, and also to answer some of your questions around my display. So first of all, I think a lot of people keep asking me about these cases. And I have mentioned it on some of my previous videos before. So I'm in the UK and I ordered these from Amazon UK, a shop called Pop Display. And they come in a variety of different sizes. And these particular ones are 40cm by 40cm or 400mm by 400mm. And they're the 5-sided case with the lid. You can get them without the lid, which I imagine if you want to have them upside down just over the top of a display, you could do that. As far as I'm concerned, I think you want to get the lid. Now, the one thing about these display cases, which is a little bit annoying, is you have to put everything in, obviously, from the top. And so for people who've got a front opening display case, I'd be interested in the comments whether you find that is easy to put your figures in. But for me, I have to basically drop everything in from the top and out again, and it can be a bit fiddly, especially when you knock something over and it falls. So that is kind of where I am with the cases. The Detolfs do look pretty good. I'm considering importing one of those and setting that up in the future. But for the time being, because I wasn't having too many displays, these cases look pretty good. And then obviously over time they've grown. The next thing I was going to mention is the lighting. So people ask me about the lighting. So again, I've said this before, these are by one, but you can get loads of different types of these sensor lights. USB charge there, and they've got obviously 3 settings. You can have it off, you can have it on, you can have it on auto. So that's kind of the brightness level. So you can see there, kind of illuminates, the display quite nicely. And I typically put them on auto, save the battery running out, and it's quite a nice touch when you walk into a dark room and they kind of light up the boxes, and it's like a nice surprise. I've actually had some trouble getting more of these because Amazon sold out, but I found some recently on eBay. You can get a set of 2 for £10. So, that's £5 each basically, which I think is really good. So, no issue at all on them. And then finally, people have been asking about the risers. So, I'll leave those there actually. The risers, so I use a variety of risers. Originally, I was using these acrylic step stands. Grab one here. Here we go. So many of these risers all over the place. So originally I was using these. They're kind of like a step, and these were kind of good for the well collectible figures. Again, off Amazon, you can find them quite cheaply. They come in like larger sets, and they're pretty decent for things like Funko Pops and all that kind of jazz. And this is what you call like 3mm plastic, which is the thickness of this. And so it's not really that sturdy. You can see it's a bit flimsy. So it'll take a reasonable amount of weight. But more recently, I've started buying these different risers, which are 4mm thickness. Now, the 4mm, they come like with this protective casing on there, but the 4mm you can see is a lot thicker, and so it means that if you're putting kind of heavy items on there, like Boo and Broly, who I'll show you in a bit, you're gonna have less chance of things falling over basically. So I quite like that. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. So obviously I'm going to replace the Android Saga that are using the step risers at the moment. Try and make that display a little bit better. And then, you know, take it from there. So yeah, in terms of my display, you know, let me give you a bit of a closer look on what's going on. So obviously that is the Namek Saga display, which I'm really pleased with. And sorry, not just Namek, it's the Saiyan Saga and Namek display. Obviously Demoniacal Fit has released the Jace figure recently, and that is coming down probably in the next week or so. So not quite sure where it's going to go. I am reaching the point that I'm going to need to split out Saiyan Saga and Namek. I guess once Guldo comes out, once, you know, potentially a Raditz fig gets announced, we'll be kind of having to move on that. I did also, of course, buy these rather cool Sofubi, you know, Cell Freezer figures, and obviously they are just too big to scale well with SH Figuarts, but they scale really well with Dragon Stars. So, and I know I previously showed you guys the Dragon Stars Freezer in the pod, which I really like. So yeah, I think they kind of look quite nice together. But yeah, ultimately it would be nice to have Figuarts scaled versions of all three of those at some point. So these are just placeholders for the time being. Then of course the Android Saga, you know, some of the earliest figures that have been, you know, released. Some Demoniacal Fit stuff there, obviously the hair for Trunks and the hair for Yamcha, and of course the gi there for Chen, which looks pretty nice. And then these effects, you know, I do like effects. You can see here, obviously, you know, the Demoniacal Fit, Kaioken Goku has his effect. He's also one of the Tamashii impacts. There's also the rocks, the explosions. Oh, and if anyone was wondering, that little Gohan is from the Adverge EX set. I saw a few pictures people put up. I thought he looked quite cute and scaled quite well, so grabbed him. And of course, these are the Saber Them, which I reviewed a little while back from Global Bee Toys, I believe. So yeah, those explosion effects are from, I think, Figuarts. Kind of do a few effects pieces that you can get, which is quite nice. So yeah, you can check those out. I have actually got an impact effect from them, which I haven't even unpackaged yet. And then, you know, what I've done there is I've put the better sculpted, better shaded head of Gohan on that body, and the same with Goku there. Then of course we move on to, and I'll bring a light, the Buu Saga display, which, you know, I was really excited about because of course, you know, this Super Buu in there now, with that aura effect which I got from AliExpress. Again, pretty cluttered, very busy, especially having two Great Saiyamans in the display, but yeah, pretty nice. And then we move on to Super, which I've recently kind of done. You know, wanted to get a bit of Resurrection of Frieza in there, or Revival Frieza, whatever it's called. And you know, I've got the Vegito Blue. These kind of food items are from a company called Rement. They make like kind of mini food for, I guess, doll houses and things. You can get them really cheaply off Mandrake if you just search RE-MENT, Rement, and they do like cakes and, you know, hot dogs and burgers and all kind of stuff. So that's quite nice. This is like a kind of a custom, I guess. It's the Super Saiyan 3 bootleg head put on the Saiyan Raised on Earth body. It doesn't fit particularly well, so that's why you'll see there's like kind of a stand holding the hair, so the head's kind of held in place. If you want to know more about how I've done that, then put a shout out in the comments and I'll do a video kind of showing you how it's all been put together. And then of course, you know, we have you know, Goku, Frieza, Trunks, Vegeta and Black, and I need to play around a little bit more with this display. But obviously the reason why I haven't done too much is because I need to add these guys in. So yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna get into it and do like a full review of the articulation and all that jazz. I'm just going to show you because I mean there's so many videos out already. You know, just a phenomenal figure. I mean the shading has been done really well. The face sculpt is just out of this world. You know, the articulation from what I've found so far is decent. The weight and the size of it is obviously quite you know, quite big and heavy. So it might be a bit of a struggle to kind of get him in aerial poses unless you've got strong stance. But yeah, he's pretty awesome. And then of course, you know, Gogeta Blue, again, very awesome figure. Needs to play around with the articulation. A lot of people have been moaning about the eyes, saying that, you know, the brow is low on one side and makes his eyes look droopy and all the rest of it. Not on this particular face, but on one of the other faces, I think it's more prevalent. But to be honest, even in the promotional pictures, he's got like one eyebrow raised. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. If you get a figure and you find that one brow is slightly higher, it's not really a big deal. So that's those guys. And the only thing I also wanted to mention is that, you know, people keep saying or asking me about my World Collectibles and whether I'm still doing reviews and all the rest of it. And, you know, I've still got 3 cases. Sadly, Battle of Marine Ford had to go to make room for Dragon Ball. But I do still have these guys, and I don't think I've shown anybody the, you know, the Katakuri and Luffy figures that I got as part of, I think it was the 50th anniversary set. They are really nice. And the most recent set, which you may have just caught earlier, just arrived today, is of course this Battle of Luffy set, which I actually really like and I've been looking forward to. It's the first set I've bought this year because prior to this we had like the Zodiac set, which I wasn't really feeling. But this will probably be the last set that I buy this year. From what I can see, we're getting a Reverie set, we're getting some colour spreads, and then we're getting a bit of a break because I'm guessing Banpresto are starting to rebrand everything to Bandai Spirits, which is interesting because it means World Collectible figures and, you know, SH Figuarts are all going to be under the same imprint, which is pretty cool. But yeah, we've got Tankman Luffy, we've got Cracker, who looks quite nice. I will say, be careful if you get him. Very fiddly to get that cape on. I'm a little bit worried about the hair on the on his right hand side there. It's kind of being bent a little bit out of where it should be. So just a word of warning, don't want anyone breaking theirs if they get it. A Luffy there, you know, from Whole Cake Island. Vin Smoke Sanji, which I'm a little bit disappointed they didn't go for like the translucent sort of flame effect, but it's pretty nice. Obviously Gear 4, Snake Man Luffy, which is pretty sweet. I like the fact that his tooth is missing on that side. If you see, that's a nice touch, definitely awesome. And of course, Mochi Mochi Man Katakuri. So yeah, so a really nice kind of collection, I think. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. Well collectible figures and Dragon Ball SH Figuarts. Definitely 2 of the better, you know, figure lines out there. If you're into shonen, you know, obviously Dragon Ball and One Piece. I still call them Dream 9. You know, I'm definitely looking forward to getting more of those. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to show you guys today. So yeah, keep collecting. I hope you've enjoyed this little sort of update on my figures and what's going on. Looking forward to getting more figures and showing you more. Definitely watch out for a review of the Demoniacal Fit Jace when it arrives. That will definitely be going up. And beyond that, you know, keep your eyes peeled. Any questions, drop me a comment, and keep